nice and early start. Sorry, that's a dream. Nice and early start. Heading to see my surgeon today, and then got a busy weekend. I'm tired. I'm sorry. I'm gonna meet my surgeon. We're gonna go through some of the things about my leg, which is loads better. And then tomorrow I'm gonna sit down with TidyButt, get my face trimmed, my hair cut, and yeah, talk to you about TidyButt, introduce you, and yeah, explain what we're doing. So, well, welcome to Dragon Days.
Like the shit up.
TidyButt boy.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, so today is a change. TidyButt's gonna cut my hair, and I'm gonna ask some questions about obviously Matthew, charity, different things like that. As we crack on.
Yeah, let's do it.
There we go. Happy days. Right. So why TidyButt? Where did it start? Where did the idea come from? Tell us more about that.
So to be honest, but I had a few issues myself in regards to mental health, and I was thinking, obviously, if I was feeling this way, there was bound to be others feeling the same. So I looked in my local area for some groups or some resources or something I could reach out to initially after going to speak to my doctor, and I didn't think there was anything really that I could resonate with.
Yeah.
So as a result, but I just started. I put a Facebook group online, a private Facebook group online, and I think it was just the right timing, to be fair, because the first lockdown happened then within like 2 or 3 weeks, and the Facebook group then just went a little bit mad. There was over 1,000 people joined onto the Facebook group, and more people started sharing their stories, their journeys and their troubles and that kind of stuff. So it kind of developed from there, but to be fair, it went from there then obviously to more and more people reaching out and messaging and that kind of stuff, saying that they resonated with my story and whatever.
Yeah.
So from there then it was just a case of, okay, what can we do next? And I decided to go down the charity road then from there. Yeah, so that's it in a nutshell basically, but it just started off as a bit of a private Facebook group, something that people could potentially reach out to and realise, I suppose, they're not the only one feeling that way, there is others feeling the same.
Yeah.
To kind of organically progressing into a charity now, I suppose.
So obviously I always know that the first time I sort of got in touch with you was when you reached out to me about being an ambassador and different things. But for me, like the main appeal of it for me was because a lot of my friends were struggling, people close to me were struggling in different parts. I, thankfully enough, I'd never say I struggled with my mental health. Obviously I've had little things, everyone has little things to go through, but I wouldn't say I ever struggled to the point where it became a problem for me. Like obviously there's certain times where like I can look back and now I'm more educated and see, well, I did obviously hit a little bit of depression there. Like there's certain parts of my life where I did things that wouldn't like me, and I made decisions that I wouldn't have made if I wasn't in that part of my life I was. But for me, like seeing people struggle and seeing like how some people who really do struggle with depression, anxiety and different things and different mental illnesses, like how it can not just affect your life, but it can set a bomb off not just for you, but then for the people you love and different things. So obviously when you reached out to me, that it was something that I was really keen on helping with and doing what I can. So next thing for you is, how have you changed now from where you are now to where you were when you first started?
Oh, but it's been a massive change, to be fair, and I found myself personally, I had quite a promising rugby career back 20 odd years ago now.
Yeah.
Due to a heart condition, unfortunately that was cut a little bit short, and if I'm honest buddy, I didn't really deal with that. Fortunately enough, I met a fantastic woman who's now my wife. I got 2 beautiful kids.
I won't go as far as say they're both.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So that kind of took my attention away from my thoughts for a long time. Yeah. But about 5 years ago, I suppose, I was kind of at my lowest point then, when the boys was not really relying on me as much. Don't get me wrong, they were still like, it's more like Dad's taxi now than anything. But when that attention kind of left, I was more like, shit, what am I all about? Who am I? What is my purpose? Who am I like? Do you know what I mean? And that took some discovery, that took some working out. But now I seem to have, through TidyButt and through having the ability to go out and speak to schools and businesses and sports clubs and that kind of stuff, I've now found a new identity, I suppose. I found a new purpose, a new meaning, and I absolutely love it, buddy.
Oh, that's awesome. So you mentioned speaking to the schools. What do you do with these schools? So give me some more details on what you actually do day to day now with the charity. What the charity actually sort of does to help out with the community, and tell me actually what you're actually doing.
So I was started, but it started off as, so myself and another ambassador, Reese Thomas. So Reese is a former international rugby player. Unfortunately, his career was cut short in 2007.
On the spot there.
2009, sorry.
2009.
Actually, 2009. Due to a heart attack, and then Reese had his own troubles with mental health and addiction. So again, I used to play rugby with Reese a long time ago. We met up during COVID in Pontypool McDonald's, grabbed a coffee because it was the only thing open at the time, and we come up with this presentation. So now we've created a mental health and wellbeing presentation that we deliver to schools, sports clubs, businesses and certain events, just to give people a better awareness around mental health, what it is, what could impact it, how we can start to incorporate some things into our life that is going to be beneficial to our mental health. And also I think it's very important, but right, to understand that when we say the word mental health, people automatically think of the bad, so they automatically think of low mood, depression, anxieties, this kind of stuff from a mental health perspective. But I think it's really important to understand that everybody has mental health. Mental health and physical health are one, they come as a package, they come together.
Yeah, brain chemistry.
Yeah, and not just that, like I speak to a lot of guys now and they go, well yeah, but I'm not suffering with anything. And I say, that's fantastic. Why? Why aren't you suffering with anything? And make people think and make people try to understand that it doesn't always have to be bad. Build awareness around some of the things in your life that is working for you right now, because there will come a time where maybe you feel a little bit lower. So it's about understanding, but it's about building awareness around yourself, some of the things that work for you, some of the things that don't. Because if, as the statistics say, I suppose 1 in 4 people will struggle with some form of mental health in their life.
Yep.
So if you do build a good understanding around some of the things that's working well for you in your life,
yep,
when you do start to feel a little bit low, or you start to feel a little bit depressed or anxious or whatever,
yep,
you can then look at your life and go, well, hang on, I've stopped doing this, I've stopped going to the gym, I've stopped connecting with my friends, I've isolated myself a little bit, and you can start to incorporate these things back into your life again.
Yeah. So these talks you do with the schools, tell us a bit more about them.
So in regards to the talks, but as I said, it's basically myself and Reese going into these different organisations or schools now. We was very lucky enough to go into all of the Torvine schools, speaking to the children in regards to mental health and well-being, what could impact their mental health. So I think social media has a massive thing now. A lot of the children, we ask the question during our talk saying, what could negatively impact our mental health? Social media is a massive one, but it's unfortunate that a lot of these children don't mention. I think of all the talks children we've spoken to, and we're going into the 1,000 now, one have come out with social media and its impacts, because I think they're brought up in an era where social media is the norm, or understanding some of the impacts around that.
Okay.
So it's about having these open and honest conversations, it's about standing in front of these children, being vulnerable, being honest, sharing experiences, and hopefully, do you know what, if it resonates with a few of them, or one of them even, then we're happy.
Yeah. No, it's such a massive thing, because obviously when I was coming through school, I'm 26 now, and like obviously when I was in school there was nothing to do with mental health talks. There was no one brushed upon it. Like I was always told when I was a kid that people who struggle from mental health are weak. Yeah. Like that was the mentality you brought up with, that if people struggle from mental health it's because they had a weak mind, and it's nowhere near that, because the most intelligent, the strongest people that I've ever met in gyms or different things are usually the people who struggle the most. And like the amount of people I've met who've overcome so much different things, and the amount of people who I met who have suffered with such crippling an illness as mental health is, especially when a lot of the time there's no reason for it. So like someone I used to speak to a lot of the time, they used to say that they'd wake up in the morning and no reason at all, they would just literally just feel like they wanted to die, and it didn't matter what happened, what had happened. They could have had the best night the night before, they could have been on the best week. They just wake up one day and they just want to die. And there'd be no reason for it, there would be no coming out of it, there'd be no snapping yourself and sort of pulling yourself out, because there is no from coming out of it. It's like you're drowning and you're stuck underneath, and like you need someone to help pull you back out. And that is just like one of the most scariest things you can think about, because like as someone like me who's like physically tough, like I believe I could fight anyone on this planet, like that's never been a problem. The fact that like you can just one day wake up and be drowning from your own brain is just something that just is devastating, and it is something that people need to be aware of. And like I said, the fact that you're going into schools and helping young kids and reaching out and telling them that there's a lifeline from is just something amazing, and yeah, it is such a massive thing. No, so we said how you started, we've talked about what you're doing now. What's the plans for the future?
Keep doing the same as what we're doing, buddy, to be fair. We seem to be getting more and more interest in regards to schools and stuff, so this early intervention and prevention thing is massive on our agenda now at the moment. So getting into schools, I think with the uncertainty at the moment, but with the world and everything, do you know what I mean? Everything's a big shitstorm. A lot of these children are waking up one day and one minute they got to wear masks, one minute they ain't going into school, then they're doing remote learning. They're not allowed to see friends, they're not allowed to see friends. So I think for a lot of these children at the moment, but this uncertainty.
Well, the isolation is a big thing. We talked about this before, but like being stuck inside, where you feel like the world's end, you're not allowed out, you're not allowed to do anything, you're barely allowed to exercise. Like that is crippling. Yeah,
oh for sure. And I think in regards to the isolation, but a lot of it was taken out of their own hands. So they wasn't allowed to go and see friends. They wasn't allowed to go to the gym or go to all the clubs had stopped. Everything had stopped. So a lot of people were spending their time on their consoles. Okay, they were still what they call connecting with people, but there's nothing like seeing the whites of the eyes of your friend, or do you know what I mean? Having a hug or shaking each other's hands or fist pumping or whatever. That's true connection. Now, in regards to the metaverse and all this VR stuff that's coming out, I think this is only going to get worse. So I think it's vitally important that we continue to spread the message about connection and continuing to speak with certain people, getting out in your friend circles, continuing to go to your clubs, and actually physically seeing people on a daily basis, rather than, because what I find is happening, the more we speak to these children, they're disconnecting through gaming and social media, trying to escape their reality. They're trying to create a persona or an image online. Unfortunately, is not sustainable, because once they turn the phone off or they take the VR headset off, they're back to square one. So yeah, it's a worrying time in regards to that kind of stuff, what's going on at the moment, especially the more we speak to some of these young people. But
it is unfortunate, because like something I learned quite young was social media is a valuable tool, but it is a tool, the same as any other tool. Like there's certain times to pick it up, there's certain times to put it down, and there's certain people who are just sort of, they're stuck with it, so they're stuck with it 24 hours a day, and they don't sort of see the part where you can just sort of shut it down and leave it and have a bit of time away, because everyone needs time away from social media. Definitely. Like for me, it is a key tool for what I want to do. It's something that'll take me from one level to a completely different, and like the social media side of things, like I said before, is something that's going to enable my future to be completely different. But it is a tool, and like any other tool, it has to be treated as such. It can't be treated like the way it is, and the way sort of people have, where it's like in this day and age, anyone who doesn't have a social media account is sort of treated as an enigma. People get confused when they can't find you online. Like you sign up for a job, people will look online for you, and when they can't find you, they get confused and they ask why you're not online. So it is something that is necessary to have, but people got to remember that it is completely different. Like it's something you have to hide a lot of who you are a lot of the time. You have to act a certain way, and all this stuff, it is obviously negative aspects that can really affect your life.
From my perspective, but right, nobody's really posting their losses on social media. The majority of people are posting their wins. So if you're looking to escape your reality, if you're feeling a little bit low and you pick up your phone to have that scroll and get that little instant bit of gratification, you're not going to find it. You're going to make yourself feel worse, because what you end up doing is seeing at your lowest, comparing yourself to everybody else's best. So it's just being aware of that. It's just understanding that not everyone is honest on social media, not everyone is telling the truth, a lot of people are posting for likes and comments and stuff, but I totally agree in regards to a personal brand or a business, for instance.
Yeah.
There is certain amounts of social media and that life online that you need to live, definitely.
So awesome, Matt, to be honest. So, like you said, plans for the future, you just want to keep expanding. What's the short-term goals? You're into schools a lot more now, you've seen a lot of people, you've got the support groups, obviously. I don't think we mentioned as well, the day outs you do, the day meetings and different things, the ice dip and everything. Tell us a little bit about that.
At the moment, obviously due to commitments and stuff, we try to do once a month. So we do like a group wellbeing walk once a month. Some cold water therapy is something I know you've experienced as well yourself, isn't it?
Not a fan, but I've done it before. Obviously, in the team stuff, we used to do ice baths and stuff. It's not something I do for fun like you nutcases.
Yeah.
So a bit of a different one today. Well, today, yeah. Well, it is today when you're watching. You saw my interviews with TidyButt. We talked about the charity and different things. Obviously, I don't think you got a proper exit in because my camera died. But yeah, thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. And yeah, it's another episode done. Woo!